Hi there, it's Frederick here from the Datto product team. Just going to take you through a quick run through of the 2018.3 release for Autotask Endpoint Backup. Two key features to go through for this release. Firstly, we've got some custom file and folder path exclusions for Endpoint Backup Manager, and also I'll take you through the new single sign-on integration for Endpoint Backup Online, really enabling end users to access their endpoint backup data anywhere from any device. So firstly, to go through the custom file and folder path exclusions, the key thing about this is sort of optimizing how you provide endpoint backup to your customers. Not all locations on a device need to be backed up. For example, if you're deploying an RMM solution such as Datto RMM to your customers, what I often hear is that there are specific folders which involve configuration files which are constantly changing, which aren't necessary to be backed up. So being able to filter those out is going to be useful for just reducing resource utilization and also making sure that bandwidth isn't constantly being consumed by those devices. So you can exclude folder paths and you can exclude file paths for Windows and Mac to really help you optimize the service for your customers, and of course, gives you the flexibility depending on how you are providing the service to them. The second feature is single sign-on, and that really allows users to access their data anywhere from any device. So today, the most common way that a user is going to restore their own data is they would click on the icon on the system tray. It takes them to Endpoint Backup Online in a web browser, and then they can download and restore their own data to their devices from there. With this, it enables them to actually restore or download that data from any other device because they just need to authenticate via their identity provider. As you can see in the screenshot, I'm using Okta, but you can use any identity provider. We've got really good documentation taking you through step-by-step how to configure that. And that's really great for business continuity. A simple use case could be, I'm a CEO about to give a presentation at a conference. If I have a business or a complete disaster where my laptop just stops working, I can very easily log into my my identity provider, let's say Okta, on my colleague's machine, access my backup data, find that PowerPoint, download it, and present it off their machine. So really good for improving productivity and business continuity in those disaster scenarios. So just to quickly take you through a quick demo of these features. So if I go into Endpoint Backup Manager, you can see a backup profile here for one of my teams or one of my customers. And if I look at the window here, I've got backup exclusions, so I can now add those folder paths or those file paths. So as you can see, we've already pre-configured a few exclusions for folders and files, and you can add your own. So really good flexibility here. And of course, this is all policy driven. So I could do this for individual devices, or I can do it for the entire customer, or maybe just small groups of devices. So really optimized so that you can provide it the best way that suits your customers and their environments. And of course, it's going to be included for Windows and for Mac devices, so depending on what machines they do use. Moving on to single sign-on, so very, very easy. And as I mentioned, I am demonstrating it using Okta, but you can use it with any identity provider. Please do just look at the documentation, how to configure that. It only takes a few minutes. And so in this example, I could be on another machine. I'm in a disaster scenario. I simply authenticate into Okta. I could see all of my applications. In this case, I've only got one and not dozens. And I simply click onto Endpoint Backup. That very easily and seamlessly authenticates me into Endpoint Backup Online, and I can access all of my backed up devices and start downloading some data. So I can quickly go in here, if I want to, go into these locations and start getting that data back and carry on working. So very, very easy and a very useful sort of valuable feature, because as I mentioned, it really enables users to just carry on working in a disaster scenario because they still have access to that data. And in this scenario, it means they're not, potentially raising a ticket straight away, demanding access to their data, and they can carry on working and then discuss getting their machine up and running later on down the line. So really, really good stuff. If you've got any questions, feel free to contact me directly or go onto our forum, so Community Online, to discuss these new features of partners. But also, as I mentioned earlier, please do look at the documentation, especially for the step-by-step guides for the SSO integration. Really useful stuff. And I hope you have a great day.